Hello friends, it's Kirsten and I'm glad you're here with me today. Thank you for watching. I want to talk to you guys about how to be motivated or to stay motivated in ballet because I know ballet is hard. I get it. I've been there. We've all been there. There's so many times in every dancer's journey where you know that you're doing a cool thing by getting to dance every day and you kind of know you should think differently about your situation, but you feel stuck and you're not progressing, and then you get stuck in the mindset of shaming yourself for not progressing when you're just not inspired. So I'm going to try and help you guys out with just a couple tips because I'm not trying to talk to you for 25 minutes like I normally do. Although, comment if you've noticed that my last 4 videos I think have been under 10 minutes. Wow. Before I move on, I do want to address, I just recalled that I said if you dance every day just a minute ago. And I often make the assumption that people who watch my channel dance every day, like when I'm speaking to you. But if you were to personally ask me about the demographic of people who watch my channel, I would say probably a lot of you don't dance every day. That's a privilege. Sorry, I just was making these assumptions. Anyway, if you get to dance at all, it's amazing and it's a privilege. So that being said, let's move on to the tips. Okay, so before you get motivation, inspiration is a really good place to start. So what I always like to do is not just kind of do the tip that would be so easy to give, like watch other people dancing. If that does it for you, do it. Like get on YouTube and watch a ton of different companies and different dancers performing, and especially if you could get to a live show, go see performances as often as you can. My tip is to watch many different artists doing what they do and what they love. It doesn't, for me, any sort of musical theater performance just puts me to another level of energy and I love it so much. I've had people tell me that I should do musical theater. I can't sing very well, but I don't know, that might happen in my lifetime. Also, my instructors at Atlanta Ballet told me I should do stand-up, and I didn't know if they were insinuating I should kind of just toss ballet out, but I guess that was nice. Anyway, so I just believe that getting out there and experiencing different types of artists perform and share what they love to do is so important. And just the simple act of not necessarily watching another performer to be inspired by the technical aspect of what they're doing, but in essence, what is going to provide you with motivation is being a witness and being influenced by that performer sharing what they love to do. Because really, if you are around someone who's excited about what they're talking about or loves what they're doing, or they're just happy and they're expressing that, and oftentimes that's what a performance is, they're expressing the love of what they do, that is what rubs off on you, and that is what is the beginning of inspiration, which is, I think, the beginning of motivation. Although there's a tip in and of itself: get around people who are excited to do what they're doing, especially if you have a classmate or just people who you're around in general who just have that vigor and excitement for what they're doing. Even if it's a friend outside of dance or a mentor or someone you know or love, it's important to be around people who push you to kind of translate their excitement and turn it into an energy you get to push towards what you do, if that makes sense. Another tip is to continually be setting goals, so you're always having something to work towards and look forward to. But before you do that, because that's another kind of obvious tip in my opinion, I think it's so important to look back and see and acknowledge and honor yourself for how far you've already come. Because so many people take goal setting and they really get out of hand with it, and they use it because they first start with the thought that they're not good enough, or they're not where they want to be, or they don't like where they're at, and that's their inspiration or motivation to go forward and to keep dancing, because they're only pushing because they believe they're not good enough. But that's what is called catabolic energy, like this negative force that can propel you forward, but usually only for a time, and usually it just holds people back because they're just dwelling in this negativity. Anabolic energy is what you want. That is that sort of positive energy that propels you to go forward. So to start with anabolic energy in your process, you should really start by saying, okay, I'm fine where I am. I'm so proud of how far I've come. It's great that I'm doing what I'm doing and that I'm even setting a goal in the first place and trying to push myself further. How far can I go? That is really what's going to keep you motivated, that mindset of positivity, gratitude for what you do, and appreciation for what you're already doing. That's just going to be like each time you get better, the icing on top. But starting with the foundation of being happy where you are, and it's okay. You can be happy where you are and also want to fix things at the same time. It's not like being happy with where you are in dancing and life and whatever is mutually exclusive with, or that doesn't mean you're perfect. If you're happy with where you are, that does not mean you're perfect. You can hold both things at the same time, like improvement of self and being happy with yourself. Okay? That's just a little life lesson right there. My next tip is to always make gratitude and joy and happiness in dance a part of your process. Just like I was talking about in my last tip, positive energy is such a good force to have in everything you do, and in dance you really need it. Dancing is really hard sometimes, and there are so many rewarding moments, but a lot of times it takes so much work to get up to like one moment of superficial reward. Well, I don't want to say superficial, it's not always that way, but for many dancers they say, oh, I dance because I love to perform. Well, for most people, performing is like such a tiny percentage of the entire process they go through with dance. And so if you're thinking of it that way, that's not a very good payoff. Like, you need to have some sort of fulfillment or be able to find that fulfillment in the daily stuff, in the preparations, because it's there. It can be there. So push yourself to find new things to appreciate, to be grateful for, and get around people in your class and cultivate community, and really just try to create groups around you or a support system where you can share your triumphs, your daily struggles. You can have a group around you, even if it's just one person. Like, choose people around you who have similar goals, who have some sort of positive energy about them. And I know not everyone is fortunate enough to be in an environment where they can find a person like that. Sometimes you have to be that person. I've been there before. So many times I've been that person where I just accept that I have to change an environment, and that's how it is. And slowly, by putting out that energy, I attract it, and the environment changes. And then I have community. So it is possible. So it is possible. If you feel alone, you can change things. You have that power. But if you're fortunate enough to have people around you who can partner with you in your journey and help you to stay motivated, that is the best thing to do. To share verbally, like, tell people what you're going through, and don't always just share the hard parts. Like, that only cultivates a relationship centered around complaining, gossiping, and negativity, and staying exactly where you're at because you're just dwelling in all the things you don't like. So what you need to do is talk with your friends, your support system, your group, again, even if it's just one person, about where you want to go. What's your vision for what keeps you excited in dance, and what goals you want to achieve, or just anything. Even if you just want to enjoy a certain aspect of dance more, you don't always have to have like tangible goals or physical goals. So create that support system so that you are held accountable sometimes, so that you can share your daily triumphs and have people celebrate with you, and so that when you're weak sometimes in your resolve, you can have someone to bring you up again. That's the beauty of community. I've talked about this in another one of my videos in the past, but no matter what, remembering to have and to bring a sense of play into your dancing is so crucial for keeping it interesting and for staying motivated, for keeping things fresh, and to walk into the studio and maybe you have to do a repetitive class. And ballet class in general tends to be pretty, like it's a routine. Sometimes it could get interesting. Other times it's like a very meditative thing where each progression in class, like each combination, it's very expected. So it's easy to fall back into a lack of motivation. But if you're bringing that sense of play into your work and seeing how you could push yourself, how you could even not necessarily do things better, like that's a common mindset that you have to do things better all the time. See how you could do things differently. There are so many different ways to interpret music when you're dancing, or the quality of a step, or just so many different things. So don't always put pressure on yourself to do something better to keep class interesting. Push yourself to do things maybe differently and see how versatile you can be. I can't stress this next point enough. It is so crucial to recognize that ballet is such a mind game. Like your entire experience, a lot of it is in your body and like getting in touch with your physicality and how you feel and how you're progressing and what your body can do. Like I'm not denying that's a big component of it, but your mind, I want to exaggerate and say it is everything because it dictates what your body does, and the way you think and feel and formulate your thoughts around your experience in dance actually crafts your experience. It crafts your like physical performance, as well as your emotional experience and your emotional connection to dance, which plays into motivation. I hope that each of you are able to go throughout your experience in dance, whether it's in classes, rehearsals, anything, and see each moment, each class as an opportunity to make tons of little choices that add up to a mindset which produces action, produces a trajectory. So you have so many little choices about deciding to think about your situation a certain way, therefore either producing motivation or destroying it. You have your ability to form your perspective. Like perspective isn't purely formed off of things that you can't control, like circumstances you can't control. It's formed by how you choose to see certain things. So my big tip is to detach your physical state with your, as much as you can. I mean, it's not always possible. As dancers, we're really in tune with our bodies and it can affect our emotions, and we're not always perfect. Like, you're not always going to be in control of your emotions. That's fine. That's cool. It's normal. But the more you learn to not rely so much on how you're performing physically and how you feel physically to produce motivation or to destroy it, like I said, the more success you'll find in your experience, the more joy you'll find in your experience. So, like, for instance, today I was in class and I only dance 2 to 3 times a week at this point. If you don't know why that is, watch my life update videos. But anyway, I'm having a good time. However, I challenge myself frequently to wear point shoes and center almost every time I take class. And today in class, we were given a super scary, hard pirouette combination. And at first I was like, ooh, I should probably modify that because I might hurt myself again and I don't want to go there. But then I thought, no, I can do it. I can do it. But of course, the first time I went and did the combination, I was still very fearful about it. I was very timid and I made a lot of mistakes, and I was so tempted to just stop and just walk away and be like, oh, that sucked and I'm a terrible dancer and I can't do this anymore. But instead I was like, no, I'm not going to be afraid of it, because my fear dictated the way I danced in that situation, which then made me feel a certain way again. So what I did is I went back there, I did it again, and this time I was like, the main goal had nothing to do with my physical performance. It was that I was going to tell that fear who's boss, and I did way better, okay? So in that moment, what I celebrated wasn't necessarily that I did it physically and I did it better. It was that I was having this moment of triumph and celebration because I chose the way I was going to react to that situation. So I think that is the birthplace of mental health in dance. That is where results are produced, where you get where you want to go, and where how you can stay fulfilled and like emotionally resilient in dance, because it's so easy, like I've said a million times, to like get down. It is so easy to feel discouraged and like you're never doing things well enough. But if you constantly focus on that, that is where motivation dies, because you just don't want to be there anymore because it's not fun. Okay? Okay. Wow. I've preached for like, I'm gonna guess like 16 minutes at this point. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening. If you're still here, I appreciate you endlessly. And comment, actually, if you made it until the end. I really want to know, so I can appreciate those of you, those faithful people, so much. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget that I'm on all different aspects of the internet, linked below: Patreon, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, that stuff. You guys, you know that stuff. Anyway, stay tuned for my video next week. I've been doing about one video a week recently, so I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.